Hello everyone and welcome to another horrific review. We're continuing our look into the Hammer horror franchise with Crescendo, directed by Alan Gibson. A young American woman, Susan Roberts, goes to the south of France to do her thesis research on a recently deceased composer, staying with his eccentric relatives. Alright everyone, we are back and yeah, this is definitely one of the off-the-wall Hammer productions, not the usual fare, so we'll take a look at it anyway. We'll start off with, it has to be the most 70s dream sequence ever. Like, this is pure 70s cinematography. You can just, it's dripping all over it. It's a strange scene, we see it as if it's the American Wild West, but the music's off, so you straight away know something's not quite right. We see this guy who turns out to be George. I don't know whether he's an antagonist, protagonist, but anyway, a character. He's approaching this woman because it goes from cattle rustling to the beach, and there's like fishing nets up and he just meets her, so yeah, that's a thing. He's starting to have his wicked way with her, and then someone else appears wearing all black, carrying a shotgun. When George looks, he sees himself, and this sort of sequence plays out as he awakes from a dream screaming. So yeah, I knew it was a dream sequence. It's one of those things that this movie telegraphs so hard. Like, you work out the whole plot within 10 minutes. There's one minor twist, but really, if I had been thinking along them lines, I would have worked that out too. You know, not my genius, just the really obvious storytelling. We have a maid, Liliane, bringing him breakfast in bed, speaking French to him and being all suggestive, and yeah, you kind of know that's going, like the maid cliche. I think this is where it started. We then have this intro scene as they roll the credits of Susan being driven by Carter, the manservant, up to the chateau. And honestly, I don't know whether they're just doing it to fill time to get through all the credits or trying to demonstrate that this is a really isolated location. But I've never seen a car journey go on so long. It's very, very odd. I think it works sometimes. Like one of the Frankenstein movies did it when he was carrying out his experiments while they played it, and it kind of worked. This just feels forced. I don't know. I think maybe because the whole movie's a bit obvious and I don't know what they expect. It just doesn't feel like a Hammer movie. Definitely feels like one of them ones where they've just brought an entire new team in, just slapped the Hammer label on it, and that's it. It's another Warner 7 Arts collaboration, but we've seen those, even with Taste of Blood Dracula and a few others. Like, you get the Hammer theme, the feel to it, so yeah, I don't know why this one's so off the wall. Anyway, Susan arrives, we meet Danielle, and instantly, if you don't know that she's a bit of a creep as well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it turns out that Susan had sent their trunk ahead with all her stuff in it. It mysteriously disappeared while Danielle gives like the evil smile, so we know something's up. Like, this is bad. Liliane just randomly shows hostility straight away. How long are you going to be here for? When are you leaving? Like, they would have known as staff even. Like, it's not as if it's a massive house with like 20 people and like 6 levels of hierarchy within the house staff, you know what I mean? There's only a small bunch of them, so, oh yes, we're having somebody here for a year to do your thesis, you know, prepare. Don't know. Hard work. We'll have a scene where George is watching Susan swimming, so we know he's a bit of a creeper. He's in a wheelchair. That becomes really obvious because that's used a lot. And then we've got this strange thing where there's the music room of the dead composer. We don't know how he died, really. It was some sort of accident or what, but with this movie, it could have been anything. It could have been deliberate, because they're all off the rocker. But anyway, we've got the obligatory cobwebs in the music room, and it's like a mausoleum, which is strange considering that it's used like almost as a shrine to his work. So yeah, whatever. Honestly, 10 minutes in this, you're sort of like, oh, it's going to be one of these movies. It's really, really bad. We have this also weird scene where George is, it looks like a hospital room. I don't think it was his bedroom, it's a bathroom or something, but Danielle, his mother, is injecting him with something. And I was beginning to wonder, is she keeping him in the wheelchair? Is this drug something to do with it? Or is it a psychological thing? You know it's not right. We'll find out later it's heroin, he's an addict. So yeah, that becomes obvious anyway, like 5 minutes later when the whole scene with Liliane and she's bringing him more of the stuff, and yeah, like I said, the maid cliche. She's sleeping with him, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. There's an interesting scene here when they're having dinner, and Susan basically explains that she learned piano from she was 12, but she wasn't good enough to actually play professionally, so she decided to teach instead. that is really telling. Was it the 60s, 70s where this trend came about where you could sidestep being a professional and go into teaching rather than be a professional being a requirement, being a master of your field, then go in to pass on the knowledge? And you'd think, especially something like music, that would be a requirement, but there you go, that's that. You can see that sort of went on generationally now, that academia has just got academics and people that don't actually take their field vocationally, and yeah, it shows. I can just see that education's a bit of a joke these days, to be honest. And just that sentence, the fact that she said she wasn't good enough, so she said to teach, it just says it all about the education system, and it seems to be a problem the world over. I think that's what it is. Once the idea of master and apprentice, the journeyman, actually becoming a master of your craft went away and was replaced by pass an exam, we can see the degradation of skills and knowledge and ability and inspiration as well, because let's be honest, teachers aren't the most inspiring people in the world. They're meant to be, but they're not. That's just the way it's become, and it's just got worse and worse. I think we're due for a change. I think we're nearly at rock bottom with all this, and something has to come out of it, or else we're done for, because we can't carry on the way we are. People don't have problem solving skills anymore, and it's really hurting us as a society. But we'll see anyway. That's my little social rant with this. Actually, I was more interested in the actual plot. I suppose that's why I focused on it, because you have to think about anything. If I wasn't reviewing this movie, it would just be switched off or in the background while I was doing the housework or something, because honestly, there's nothing here. Susan was made a special cup of hot chocolate, which I think was meant to knock her out unconscious because she didn't drink it. And then, of course, then she hears music and goes down, and there's a dummy in the chair, and then we don't see the dummy anymore, and it's all odd. But we know there's something off with George, the mother, Lillian, Carter, that they're all up to shenanigans. And it turns out that the suitcase did arrive. It just wasn't given to her because they wanted her to dress in, it turns out it was Catherine's clothes, which was George's ex-girlfriend. So they're setting her up the next one or something. So this becomes obvious like halfway through. So the problem is, when all this is obvious, you're still waiting for the end of the bloody movie to happen, and it's just a slog. Lillian starts to try to blackmail George and wants a promise of marriage. Now here's the thing, a promise of marriage isn't exactly a legally binding contract, so why didn't George just go, yeah, okay, I promise I'll marry you, and then leave it at that? No, the plot needed to happen, so there you go. Susan randomly falls in love with George. Like, there's no chemistry between these two at all, and they really don't have any like proper screen time together, and you're just like, why is this? Oh yeah, the plot needs to happen. That's it. They're just slogging through the plot to get this over and done with. Pretty much like I'm doing with this review, to be honest, because honestly, it's not an easy one to talk about because it's just bland. Leanne gets killed. She's the first murder 50 minutes into the movie. And yeah, it all gets revealed that George has a twin brother called Jax, and Catherine was Jack's wife, and George decided he was going to have a bit of fun with her. And George is also the black sheep of the family because he's the only non-musician. Everyone else is a musician except him. He decided to be a tennis player until he had his accident, which I think was the shotgun when Jax killed Catherine, because that was a dream sequence, and Susan set up to be the next Catherine, and it turns out Jax has broke his mind, which I think he was already broken. Yeah, he's getting all these dolls and he's killing them, as if it's Catherine. It all gets very, very strange, and he's the one being playing the piano, so they've been playing the trick as if it's George getting out of the wheelchair, but it's not, it's Jax. And yeah, that's it. Danielle, who's been orchestrating this whole thing because she wants Jax to have kids so that the lineage will continue and the music will get finished, blah blah blah, then just changes her mind at the drop of a pen and shoots her son. And then Susan runs out of the house with no clothes or passport, down the hill I suppose, which we've found out through the credits is like miles away from civilization, and that's it, just goes to roll credits. I'll have to apologise to Peter Cushing because I've now found worse fight choreography than him. Like, these ones fighting, even Carter, who looks like he can handle himself, it's just terrible. The worst fighting I've ever seen, but that's the thing. I think it was just the icing on the cake of this movie. But there you go. This is pure, like, not good 70s movies. This is not good 70s. This is just junk. We can see the decline of Hammer, honestly. We can see that they've lost their way, and I genuinely think it's their storytelling. That's what's letting them down, and why the company ended up just folding. For the odd good hit they had that sticks in people's memories and the character creation, as a whole, I'm seeing why the wheels fell off and Hammer really didn't have any longevity, because they kept pumping out stuff like this. Forgettable. Like, honestly, you wouldn't even associate it as a Hammer movie. You just watch it sort of in the background and then forget about it. Like, you definitely wouldn't go to the cinema to see this. But there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time, keep up the other channel, do the type of things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.